Okay, so today we are unpacking a story that is honestly the ultimate emotional wake up call for all of us. We're doing an explainer on Tuesdays with Morrie. And look, this isn't about wild plot twists or cliffhangers. It's about raw, undeniably true lessons on how to just be a human being. It's the kind of story that gets right under your skin and stays in your heart long after you've absorbed it, simply because it feels so painfully, beautifully true. Let's just dive right in. I mean, really think about the stark contrast between two completely different ways of existing. On one side, we have our modern civilization. We live in a world built entirely on deadlines, chasing status, and literally pretending that burnout is some kind of desirable personality trait. That was exactly how Mitch Albom lived, working at this frantic, absolutely exhausting pace as a highly successful sports journalist. And then on the other side, we have his former sociology professor, Morrie Schwartz. Morrie was facing a devastating ALS diagnosis. Yet, despite the fact that he was actively dying, Morrie sat down with Mitch for a series of Tuesday conversations and quietly ruined everyone emotionally by teaching them how to actually live better. So, let's look at the first profound insight from Morrie's final days. It's beautifully simple, but it hits so hard. Love is what gives life meaning. Morrie believed that the absolute most important thing in life, the whole shebang, is learning how to give love out and, just as importantly, learning how to let it come in. It sounds so straightforward, right? But it actually carries a pretty brutal implication when you pause and honestly examine how we spend the vast majority of our days. And that brings us directly into the achievement trap. Most of us spend decades, like an entire lifetime really, chasing good grades, career milestones, followers, money. We do all of this hoping it's going to finally make us feel like we are enough. We obsess over this trajectory, constantly seeking validation from strangers on the internet who would probably forget us in 3 business days. We get caught in this endless, exhausting loop of performance, completely missing the actual point of being alive. Because here is the reality check. When people reach the very end of their lives, they rarely, if ever, look back and say, man, I really wish I worked more. Actually, scratch that. They never say that. The realization is almost always the exact same. They say, I wish I spent more time with the people I loved. At the very end of the line, that is literally the only metric that matters. Nobody wishes for more hours at the office. They only wish they had loved more deeply. But practicing this means taking concrete action today, not just nodding along and saying, wow, so true. We have to stop treating love like a side quest we'll finally get to after we achieve our goals. Call your parents and do it without rushing to get off the phone. Finally reply to that friend you keep meaning to text back. Just do it today. And when someone talks to you, be fully present instead of mentally scrolling through your endless to-do list. Take a breath and really let this sink in for a second. In the end, our connections and our relationships aren't just some pleasant distraction from our busy lives. They aren't a break from our real work. They are the actual main story. Everything else? It's just background noise. If you take anything away from this first insight, please let it be that relationships are the core narrative of your life. Which brings us to insight number 2. Accept that everything ends. Morrie was so fiercely open about his own mortality that he actually hosted a living funeral for himself. I mean, how incredible is that? He wanted to hear his loved ones' tributes and share his love with them while he was still alive to appreciate it. Reading about a man so deeply accepting of death strangely makes life feel so much more beautiful. Morrie believed that once you truly accept you're going to die, this vital, massive shift happens in your perspective. That shift exposes the major flaw in our everyday human time management. We tend to act as if time is a perfectly renewable resource, like our lives just come with unlimited sequels. And because of this mindset, we delay joy. We delay getting proper rest. We delay being completely honest with the people we care about. We operate like we have all the time in the world, which ends up robbing us of the present moment entirely. It's honestly a terrible business model for life. So, how do we actually fix this? Well, once Maury helps you accept your mortality, you kind of just stop wasting time pretending meaningless things matter. You start making small moments feel sacred. Romanticize the ordinary moments. Put your phone down, take fewer photos, and literally just experience things as they happen. And most importantly, stop postponing the things that genuinely matter to you. When you realize life is temporary, even the absolute quietest moments start feeling incredibly profound. Now, let's look at Maury's third massive lesson. And wow, is this one deeply relevant to our modern culture? Don't build your life around status. Maury completely rejected the culture of endless competition. He firmly believed that we become completely miserable when we start measuring our personal worth through money, popularity, or perceived status. And looking around at how exhausted everyone is today, yeah, I'd say it proves him right every single day. This scary part of modern life is that society constantly rewards endless performance. We applaud the grind, the hustle, the outward show of success. People are absolutely exhausted trying to look successful. But what is our actual human need? It's true fulfillment and peace. We are constantly trading our inner peace for society's applause, and it is wearing us down. Performance is constantly prioritized over our own well-being. To protect our quiet happiness on a daily basis, we have to actively reject that status trap. You have to stop comparing your personal timeline to someone else's highlight reel online. Their perfectly curated photos, that's not your reality. Start creating things simply because they matter to you, not because you think they'll get likes or impress people. And above all, don't perform for an audience just to look successful. You have to guard your quiet happiness fiercely. To really drive this home, I want you to ask yourself this super powerful question before you chase your next big goal. If nobody could see this, would I still want it? If you couldn't post about it, if you couldn't slap it on a resume, if literally no one would ever know, would you still do it? Because if you answer that honestly, that answer changes absolutely everything about how you live your life and what you choose to pursue. Ultimately, this explainer isn't here to teach you how to be successful in the exhausting traditional sense of the word. Maury's lessons are here to ensure you don't lose your soul in the process. That is the core takeaway here. This story teaches you how not to lose yourself. And honestly, that is vastly more important than any conventional success you could ever achieve. Because one day, nobody is going to care how productive we were. Nobody is going to care about our deadlines, our follower counts, or our status. But they will remember exactly how we made them feel. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. What will people remember about you on a random Tuesday? Honestly, that might just be the whole point of everything.